welcome back to my YouTube. It is your girl Honey. Welcome back, people, welcome back. And those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel. Please make sure you guys support me however you can, whether that be through subscribing to my YouTube channel, whether that be subscribing to my podcast on my website honeysastro.com. I really do appreciate it. I did make a moon series, I think probably 3-4 years ago, a very long time ago, but it's time that I update a lot of my old videos and also give you guys more information, so you guys are getting the most out of my content. So today's topic, we are talking about Taurus moon. The moon is the emotional fulfillment, foundation, home, security, mother, it's your roots, okay? Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, and Taurus is in association with the second house. The second house is our self-esteem, value, worth, our possessions, our items, and it's also how we feel stable and secure in this world. Those of you who have got the moon placed in the sign of Taurus, the moon is very happy being here. When you think about it, the moon moves every 2.5 days into a brand new sign. The moon's always moving. The moon never stops. Therefore, the moon's purpose is to create changes as it goes through each individual house and sign. But what happens is when it sits in Taurus, because Taurus represents security and stability, right? And also personal values, you know, my personal personal pleasures. And when you have the moon going into Taurus, the moon feels like, I can finally be stable, I can finally be secure, I can finally just be comfortable where I am. This is why the moon is exalted here. But please bear in mind, exaltation doesn't make it a great placement for that person to have amazing experiences. This person will have great experiences with the Taurus moon if they have really positive aspects to their moon, such as trines, such as sextiles, or even positive conjunctions. Those aspects will contribute to how your moon tends to express itself. A lot of my clients that I have read for over the years that do have a Taurus moon, although the moon is exalted, they have a lot of stories to tell. I have lived with 2 Taurus moons, my Taurus moon siblings, and I'm a Capricorn moon myself. But let's just talk about the environment that Taurus moon people tend to be raised in. And this might also be very relatable for those of you who do have your moon positioned in the second house. Whenever I see a Taurus moon, I automatically think of that person's mother and why they've been given that Taurus moon. We have a multiple amount of reasons as to why we are given the moon signs that we have. Your mum could be a Taurus. Your mum could have very heavy Venus aspects in her chart. At the time of your birth or the run up to your birth, perhaps your mum was going through a lot of financial difficulties, or there was a lot of money being invested somewhere, or it was all about her personal pleasures at the time, okay? Or her personal pleasures can also be bad habits too. But there was a lot going on in terms of what mum was going through as to why you have been given a Taurus moon. And what happens is, when it comes to astrology, the charts that we have are always linked to the karma of our parents, energy that we have to learn to transcend, which is annoying. And that's why I've made a video where I spoke significantly about generational traumas in astrology, and I will link it up here where you guys can check it out after this video, just to find out why you've been given the chart that you have. A lot of it comes from our parents. So if your parent has not fixed something, right, we're gonna find that that issue comes through in our birth charts. So we typically see Taurus moon people are dealing with a parent who may have some sort of financial issues going on, and that's okay. But what happens is you now have to deal with these financial issues, and one of those things is the burden of mum, okay? Sometimes we find Taurus moon people have mothers who they end up having to financially support, okay? Mothers who may ask you for money, or mothers who may have a very bad relationship with money, and you're there to encourage mum, or to pay for mum for this, or to give her money for that. There's a lot of gifting mum. So mum tends to be someone who has a child who makes money, because at the end of the day, Taurus is a sign that relates to feeling very secure, right? Therefore, the moon being there, we're looking at you as someone who wants to feel very secure financially. And you want to see your mum also be very secure financially. So we do see that there can be a heavy burden of encouraging mum to feel that way. Think of the moon as your environment, meaning the home that you live in, the bedroom that you stay in. I don't want to say Taurus is untidy, but you guys can be untidy, but Taurus is very thorough about how they want their home to be. So growing up as teenagers or kids, yes, they can be very untidy, lots of things everywhere, but collecting stuff. You know, Taurus moons may have grown up feeling as though, damn, like my external stuff, my possessions. And let's talk about the external, because this is what Taurus represents. The external self or the external things represent having a nice car, or having lots of money, or having lots of possessions, lots of toys, you know, lots of things, because those things that you collect over time can contribute to that feeling of security. So we can see you coming from a mum who may have also been someone who hoards, you know, a mum who could be a hoarder, or a mum who just likes to collect different things. And that can also be passed on to you unconsciously. And let me explain how it works, because I see it all the time with Taurus moon people. One thing I've noticed is, think about Taurus as my personal pleasures. Taurus moons can experience being overweight sometimes, or very thick, voluptuous women, right? And even the men can be very stocky, right? But Taurus represents personal pleasure. So if I like a particular type of food, or a brand that produces this type of food, I'm gonna buy it in abundance because I like it. Or if I like a product, a makeup product, I'm gonna buy 10 of those. Like my sister, for example, she has purchased, I think, 10 of those Rimmel eyebrow pencils. And I'm like, why do you have so many? You know, when I run out, I just go and buy a new one. But she's like, no, I always run out, so I just buy 10 at a time. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Very Taurus moon, like, you know. And this is the thing. Think about the need to feel emotionally secure, right? The need to feel emotionally secure, and how that can very easily contribute to how you're spending your money. When you're emotionally triggered, that can be looked at as, instead of emotionally reacting and showing this awful display of my emotions, which is what you guys hate to do, is, you know what, I'm upset. And I'm gonna go out there, I'm going to spend my money on a big bowl of ice cream.
I sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
I want to spend my money on, you know, a big pizza for myself, or I'm going to buy lots of things. Retail therapy is literally therapy for Taurus moons. It's almost like it makes you feel so much better. But this is the thing, Taurus moons. Because your moon is Venus, right? Venus is my personal pleasures. And when you're emotionally triggered, this is where we see some people end up having eating disorders. Eating disorders can be found through what's happening in the 4th house, in the 6th house, but particularly when the moon is involved. And I have found it to be quite common with people who do have Taurus moons. And eating disorders can be binge eating, overindulgent eating, eating more than you can handle, and just that feeling of fullness. Anorexia as well. I'm pretty sure there are more, but I don't know about them. If you guys know about them, feel free to drop it in the comments. We are all here to learn from each other. But there's usually just this, I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel satisfied when it comes to the Taurus moon. And this tends to be a way in which you deal, you know, with your emotions. And I've also found it to be quite relatable to people, because I'm from the Pluto in Scorpio generation. And, you know, people who have their Pluto opposing their Taurus moon are dealing with a lot emotionally. And I made a whole video where I spoke a lot about mental health, because this also plays a part. You know, Taurus can very much, or Pluto can very much rip apart the moon of Taurus and create mental health issues, very intense emotions. And this is very uncomfortable, because when you think about Taurus energy, Taurus moon, right? The moon of Taurus, it makes you want to be in control and stable and be very comfortable. But when you have planets such as Pluto opposing or squaring or aspecting whatever your moon, it always just feels like you're on a roller coaster ride. Things are always happening, and that makes you feel really uncomfortable. And rightly so, because that's what Pluto does. And there can be a challenging complex surrounding wanting to control. Think about the moon as your home environment. Pluto and aspect can contribute to wanting to be in control of your home environment. So people who have to live a certain way, people who may have OCD, people who may what's that thing when you're afraid to go outside because if you leave the house you'll have control issues? I forgot what it's called, but you don't want to go outside. There can be things like that, and this won't be relatable to absolutely everybody, but I've seen it for a lot of people that I have read for that are dealing with a lot of fears outside of their ability to control things. And going back to what I was saying about food, Taurus moon people usually come from a family who may have fed them, you know. For example, my little sister, she would eat, as a child, she would eat her food, finish her food, and she would go over to my mum's plate, my dad's plate, and they'll be like, yes, good girl, eating your food. Yeah, because you know how kids just don't always eat their food, but she always ate her food and then some more. So this is what we typically see as a child who likes to eat, a child who enjoys food, and also a child who comes from a family who want to feed you. And I also think about quality. When it comes to Taurus, it's not about having, you know, like Taurus people are very tight with their money. Yes, they are. But it's also about having quality things. So if you know as a Taurus moon that you've had a very bad back, you know, a very bad back, and you have a very expensive spa option, or you can go for your local Thai massage down the road, you're thinking, you know what, I think I might actually deserve to have a spa weekend. You know, I might make a weekend out of it. I might invite my friends, you know, I might go and book a pedicure too. There's more of a feeling of personal pleasure, my self pleasure. I can see you.
Were you working? So why are you talking to me?
Because you walk in, Dad, they can hear you walk in and you're just gonna stand there. Jeez. Go on. In terms of the home environment, right? Because this is Venus, a Venus moon, a Venus home, they take a lot of pride in how they like to live. Color coordination, quality fabrics, you know, a king size bed with the frame. They like to have and lovely velvet drapes. These are other people that like to take pride in their home, and their home becomes their sanctuary. So especially as a Taurus moon woman, right? If you was to choose to go out there and date someone who didn't have pride in their home, which could be, I don't know, a Virgo rising, maybe even a Sag sun, even a Sag somewhere, maybe even a Pisces energy, it can be very difficult to feel a sense of security and comfort in your home, which then creates the mental health issues, right? Where, you know, your house is supposed to be your sanctuary, and if your house is untidy, you can't really focus on the rest of your day or anything going on because there's so much to have to do throughout the day. Therefore, when it comes to picking spouses, you want someone who's going to be very house proud, or even really appreciate how much time that Taurus moons put into having a beautiful home. And this is where the interests come in, you know, having a beautiful home, being interested in interior design, you know. This can be very relatable for Taurus sun people as well, but there's going to be an interest in being very house proud and also creating a comfortable, safe space for other people too. Taurus moon people, because this is how you feel secure, right? You're going to a lot of your values are going to be your possessions, and your possessions need to be paid for. So what you end up doing for a living can be linked to wanting to retain a lifestyle, wanting to retain more and more possessions. So Taurus moons, Taurus energy, period. I like it. I'm a Capricorn moon. So personally, I've always looked at Taurus energy as energy that I respect and I look up to, because Taurus is always about quality, fine dining, you know, attaining more and more money. And I'm gonna be so real with you. I'm sure when I read online, it mentioned something about the signs associated with what sort of criminal activity people are being put in jail for. I'm gonna land with this, just wait, right? But it was funny to me because a lot of I think the article mentioned that Taurus energy, Taurus people were placed in jail a lot for like fraud, for money laundering, like things where you're making money very quickly, but it's also very calculated and very sneaky. So Taurus energy and having a Taurus moon, if someone comes to you to do like a bank scam, or, you know, let me just transfer some money over to you, or let's sell some drugs, you know, things that's gonna make money very quickly, Taurus is just thinking, yeah, because I can buy those new sneakers, you know, I can buy my Prada coat, my Burberry coat, or, you know, for the winter and be warm. And there's always an afterthought, which is, if I do this right now, I'm gonna make money a lot in the long term to fund my lifestyle, because at the end of the day, Taurus is about my external lifestyle whilst fulfilling my personal pleasures. A lot of the Taurus energy people, Taurus moon people that I know have done something illegal to make money. And again, this is all because it's about making money fast. And especially if you are someone who has planets in your 8th house, planets in your 8th house to your 2nd house, whether that's Pluto in your 2nd house, whether that is Mars in the 2nd house, I find that to be so sneaky when it comes to making money. One of my friends actually, especially in synastry, this guy I know, he's a Scorpio, and his Mars in Cancer sits in my 2nd house, and he will call me all the time, be like, oh honey, you know, I just got these Louboutins, or I just got these Jimmy Choos, you know, do you want a pair? I'm like, oh, do I want a pair? He's like, yeah, but I mean, do you want to sell a pair? I'm like, well, where did you get them from? And it's funny because there's always a story behind it, but even in synastry, you'll see that there's themes, right, surrounding people coming to you to make money in an illegal way. And he's a Taurus moon with his Mars in Cancer in the 2nd house, right? In my 2nd house in synastry. But that's my point. Like, these people are notorious for wanting to feel secure, but making money very fast. I would probably call them hustlers. And one of the things I want to remind you guys is that Taurus is what a lot of people would call lazy energy. I'll be honest with you. Lazy energy doesn't mean that they are lazy people, but they can be very slow. I'll give you an example. If you've got a Taurus moon, if you're on social media as a Taurus moon and you see, wow, this person's lifestyle is amazing. They are flying out every weekend to Dubai. They are shaking their ass in a thong in Dubai.
I've been suffering. I suffered for 19 years. It's time for me to shake my ass on a yacht. In Dubai. In a thong.
Wow. I love it.
They are traveling back and forth to LA, going to Europe, whatever it might be. There's a lot of traveling, there's a lot of spending, there's a lot of fast cars. As a Taurus moon, that's the lifestyle you guys want, you know, to just feel like I can buy what I want. And even if I don't want those things, I can live a simple life, but I can still have those things because I have the money. It's about having the money there, okay? And with that being said, that can annoy you seeing someone else living your dream. And sometimes it can make you want to complain about it and say, hey, why can't I live that life? But then it's about you eventually getting to that place by doing these things, by doing things to get there. If you guys have an end goal to feel secure, you guys will get there. it's just the security is the external things. Now, when you think about the energy and the whole lazy aspect to Taurus, right? Energy is related to Aries, and Aries ruler is Mars. So you have to look at the condition of your Mars to see how reactive you are as a Taurus moon. A lot of Taurus moons don't get angry immediately, but they are able to control their emotions in that moment. But on a serious note, Taurus is not an energy that I like to argue with as an Aries woman, just because I find them very unpredictable. It's like they can be very calm, very collected, and then it's not like a from 0 to 100. It's more of a they're warming up, and when they release, it's like the bull is out and he is there to just fuck everyone up, you know. And as an Aries, I just go head first in, and that's very impulsive of me, not expecting that Taurus is very used to suppressing a lot of their emotions, a lot of anger, frustration. So these are people who hold it in a lot. But when you hold things in, there will be a moment of explosion, and that is something that I personally choose to avoid. I also forgot to mention the importance of Taurus energy, even when it's in the moon, of not liking changes. And when you think about this, is your emotions and how you feel. So when you are emotionally triggered, you're going to always feel like, okay, this is how I feel. I feel very strong and stern in my emotions, and I don't want to change that. Now remember, the moon is always moving. So when it comes into the sign of Taurus, Taurus makes the moon want to stand still. So emotionally, these people can be very challenging to be open-minded or to let go of things. So these people can take grudges. When I say to the death, I'm not exaggerating. So people, that is my video on Taurus moon. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it. You guys can find me on my website, honeysastro.com, should you wish to book a reading with me. All right people, take care. Bye.